Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So you're about 2 weeks or so and change from the festival.
Is that right?
2020. You're treading water to keep your head above water, rather, right? Is that the you're very, very swamped?
I don't know what day it is. Like yesterday, we have a podcast, and yesterday I was having trouble remembering the year.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's understandable. You have only so big a hard drive, and you have to occasionally unclutter it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
How many sidewalks have you done?
This is 15.
That's a
maybe
lot.
16. It's a lot.
And this is the 23rd, so you've been there since it's a toddler.
Yeah. Yes. And before that, I volunteered. I was on the screening committee and did some other stuff with Sidewalk prior to programming.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Birmingham.
You are? Oh wow. Okay, great. That makes that works well. I like that because
I mean, I moved around. I went to SCAD. I was up in New York for a little bit.
That's right up here where I am.
Yeah,
I'm in a little bit south of there, but not far.
Yeah. So I've been in a bunch of other places, but I moved back to go to grad school and kind of got drugged back in.
Yeah. So this is the 23rd Sidewalk Film Festival, and I started feeling a bit uncomfortable and self-conscious and a little bit just guilty that I had not been getting down there for the festival.
You should.
And so finally I had a reasonable enough excuse for not being able to get down there, but I also had an opportunity to finally participate, if not just virtually, even though, right, is this going to be a hybrid or is this going to be, I know there's live in-person screenings.
Yeah, it's all live in person. I don't believe in hybrid. I mean,
do you have to believe in it? I don't believe in pandemics, but I unfortunately don't have much control over it. What did you guys end up doing last?
It's no fault. I mean, this is not a criticism of anybody else's decisions. Just for us, last year we did a drive-in fully. So we were 100% in person. It was just at a drive-in capacity, and we did do some panels and some workshops online. But our entire film lineup was 100% in person. It makes it tough when sunset in the south is at 8 p.m. Because you can't really start anything before then. So it's kind of hard to run. Yeah,
you can't really. Right, you can't do a drive-in when there's daylight. I mean, just doesn't matter how good your projector is. But well, I get what you're saying because the whole idea of a film festival, is about seeing movies on screens and about engaging, whether it's with the filmmakers at screenings or with other people, or you are in the industry or you're a filmmaker and you are, engaging and networking and just having that wonderful opportunity that a festival affords of kind of making all those spontaneous connections that you can't do if you're at home on your couch.
Yeah, I mean, that's our belief. And in addition to that, we believe strongly in eventizing screenings. So we do a lot of sort of special events kind of stuff around films, and it's really hard to do that.
You mean throughout the year?
What's that?
You mean throughout the year?
We do that. We have a cinema, so we do it throughout the year, but we really, really do a lot of it at the festival.
Okay.
So, we like to sort of do a lot of celebration around films. So we're trying to figure out a good way to balance and, be distanced and safe and all the stuff that we need to do, but also to do our best to have an in-person event that's engaging.
All right. So you've got some special screenings of some special events. How are you for instance, I know you're showing Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, we're showing Thelma and Louise. It's a 35th anniversary, if you can believe it. And Yeah. And so directly after the screening, I'm working right now actually to put together a panel of feminist scholars in the area who are going to sort of look at the film, talk about the film, debate whether or not it's a work of feminism, and how does it stand the test of time, and a lot of conversation around that. I know that that's a particular film that ends up on a lot of women's studies syllabus. So anyway, we'll see. It'll be an interesting conversation.
Well, it's interesting you bring it up because I mean, it's relevant. I mean, having that conversation 35 years after it came out would be a very different, potentially a very, very different conversation than you might have had when it came out.
Possibly. I mean, I feel like probably Susan Faludi is, not changed her tune about it, but I mean, it definitely existed in a particular time. So it's interesting to revisit it this much later.
Yeah.
At least I think it'll be.
I'm sure it will. What are the others you've got? Because I'm kind of, you have, well, we'll get to the opening and closing nights, but you have a couple of other revival types, or
yeah, we're doing Mrs. Doubtfire with a entirely new score. So we've got a DJ who's going to do a live score to that film. We'll do the sort of captions on the screen, but we'll have a live, completely re-envisioned score to that film.
And you could just go ahead and do that, or do you have to?
Yeah, we can go ahead and do it. We're paying for the rights to the film, of course. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. I didn't know. I've never, like I've been to some before, but they're usually reenacting the score live.
Yeah, no, we're just completely re-envisioning the score.
Oh, it'd be interesting to see how that works, like in terms of how it changes the vibe of the film.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Well, who's doing the music?
There's a gentleman in town, goes by DJ Hollywood. So he's reworked the score and.
So may it sound much more sort of technically more contemporary?
I've asked him not to tell me what he's doing because I want to see it live. So I know he's put together something really interesting, but that's about all I know.
Gotcha. What's the third? I think there were, if I remember, there were 3 special screenings, right?
Oh, we've got a ton of sort of rep screenings. We're also doing 3 Ninjas is another one that's part of our family lineup. So trying to kick back to a kids film that is a bit more of a deep cut. Mm-hmm. So that's one of our rep screenings. We're also screening a film that we screened actually in the year 2000 that's called The Target Shoots First. And it's a documentary that's about a gentleman who was a philosophy major, and he gets a job, ends up getting a job at Columbia House, back when you would get the sort of 12 cassettes for a penny in the mail.
Of course, of course. And
trying to work through the corporate world.
Right, then you're beholden to buy 10 at whatever.
Yeah. You're locked into a contract, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right, exactly.
So it's all about his experience and sort of as a philosophy major and the working through the corporate world in the 90s. And so we thought it would be a fun year to bring that one back.
I sort of got my revenge on that, Rachel, because when I was working at Sony Music back in the day, we were half owners of Columbia House. And so we were allowed to order X amount, every so often of their catalog for free. I think Sony co-owned it with, I'm going to guess, Warner Brothers. And so I ended up getting a lot of free. I would only order box sets.
Yeah.
So I feel like I feel like I made up. I got my money back finally in a proper way from when I was a kid and I was doing that.
I think I still owe Columbia House money. So
probably me too. But the thing, it's like, as a music lover, it's almost somebody came up with a very, very almost unavoidable, like it's so attractive an idea of just getting stuff like so cheaply, getting right away, getting 10 of your favorite albums that you haven't been able to afford, So anyway, I'm getting slightly off topic, but and then you have what I'm looking forward. I have not seen Jeff Daniels' documentary, about the TV movie. I think it was a TV movie, right? It was a one night thing. It wasn't.
Yeah, it was a made for TV film called The Day After,
which terrified a generation. So this is about the making of that, right? So it's called Television Event.
It is. It's about the making of the day after, but it's also about the sort of cultural impact that the film had and political impact that it had and the sort of whole era around the time in which the film was released.
Which would have been when there were 3 networks, and you could have an event that would actually impact an overwhelmingly significant part of the country at one time.
Precisely. Yeah. It's
No.
it's a film about a film and a film about a shared cultural event.
Which, is very, to me, very relevant because it's hard to get any 2 people to agree on anything these days, or to have a shared experience from which to derive some sort of, commonality, or, like that unifies us. It's harder and harder as we get more fractured, and as the media, including social media, as well as the broadcast media and cable and all, are making things so specific to everybody's taste that soon you'll be able just to make your own content for television as well. So we'll have channels.
Well, it's certainly one of the reasons we selected the film, is it's really highlights the way in which our consumption of media in this country has changed, and the fact that we have very few sort of shared cultural moments, and how divisive those can be now. And certainly it's also an illustration of the fact that, nuclear war at the time in the era would have been incredibly divisive too. But here's a piece of media that comes out that the entire country has a shared cultural experience around, and it's actually uniting. It actually sort of unites everybody's feelings about a particular political topic, and even impacted the political sphere so much that it changed Ronald Reagan's opinion on his policy for nuclear war. So it's really a film about the power of media as well.
Hearing you talk about all this, I'm just going to ask a logical next question, which is, you're the creative director of the and I buried the lead. You're the creative director of the festival, and I'm wondering about the programming. And are you guys looking for films that are going to provoke such conversations and thoughtfulness? I guess what goes into it? What goes into it? Just a lot of festivals, of course, they want to get what they think are just going to be the edgiest films, or the most successful, that are going to be part of that momentum and part of that. That's kind of what they're trying to do, or they're just casting a very wide net, right? Like a bigger festival.
Sure.
What goes into Sidewalk? Because as somebody who's been familiar with indie films for over a decade myself, in an intimate way, Sidewalk always there is one of the in a small cluster of film festivals that comes up.
Well, thank you for saying that. Yeah,
it's truth.
We have I have a very particular programming strategy, and that involves trying to do the impossible, which is to create a festival that is something for everyone. We are in an area, in a region, where we do not have the luxury to be very niche. We kind of have to appeal to, somebody's grandmother who's very conservative, all the way down to like, very liberal metalhead that's living in his parents' basement. Or her parents' basement. And so, I'm trying to sort of fill all the in-betweens. And so we do want stuff that's thought provoking, and we do want stuff that's edgy, and I always want walkouts. If I have a festival where you don't have people walking out of films, I don't feel good about my work. But we also want sort of, comfort fare as well. We want people to be able to come, people who want to come and just experience film and celebrate film and not really think beyond that. We have some stuff for them too. So it's really, it's a balancing act, because within that, you also want to be representative of your entire community. And so, that covers a lot of ground. that's not just about race, it's about socioeconomic background and age and all kinds of stuff. So it's really, it's a constant act of sort of, you sort of fill this column, and then you fill that one, and then you fill this one, and you look for, this balance that's almost impossible.
It is. I can totally sympathize. But there are industry festivals where a lot of industry people are going to go to that festival. So you have like this baseline.
Yeah.
Sidewalk is very much a community-oriented, local, regional, however you want to put it, festival, which really relies on your relationship with, as you already just said, the community. So it's not so cut and dry. You do have a responsibility to try to fill as many seats as you can, and
For sure.
And then there's just having a relationship with the community, because that's what you should do.
Yeah, I mean, we're here for the community. We're a nonprofit. That's part of our mission, and part of our mission is to support local and statewide Alabama filmmakers. But in addition to that, we bring people from all over the country. Sometimes when we have the budget to support it, all over the world. And when we bring them to Birmingham, we also want to deliver to them an audience that's going to be enthusiastic about their work, even if they don't like it. They're going to be enthusiastic to sort of see it, talk about it, and sort of celebrate around it. So we're known for the audiences that we put in a room, and that's also about cultivating an audience in addition to cultivating great programming. So,
well, I hope I become one of these people that come down and I can experience Sidewalk Film Festival in person.
We'd love to have you.
I totally would love to be there. And it's from August 23rd through the 29th.
That's right.
You mentioned that the right screening has, just as a by default, has some walkouts. It's not unusual. So will Jim Cummings, it's a badge you wear proud, so will Jim Cummings and PJ McCabe's movie The Beta Test get walkouts? Will that be one?
No, I don't think that it'll get walkouts. I think that particular film, as I'm sure Jim is aware, I think that particular film is going to be a bit of a tone test for some folks. Like, I think some people will not really get the tone and the vibe of that film, and other people will. And so I think that will be surprising.
Yeah, I think you're on. Or you're probably. I do. Yeah, like when I was looking for the same kinds of laughs when I saw what was the one where he's
Thunder Road.
Thunder Road. Thank you. Thunder Road, and I've seen a couple of others since, but
right.
of his. But between the short and the feature, there's a big leap there in tone as well. It's like
the short, the Thunder Road short is real. I mean, actually, the film is a bit of a one-hander too. But I mean, the short is really just a monologue, and it's a monologue that was powerful enough to get funding to make the feature. This is a very, Beta Test is a very different film.
Okay.
But I do think it's going to take people. I think some people will not ease into the vibe of this film. It'll be interesting to see. So I don't really think it necessarily will command walkouts. It's not the kind of walkouts we tend to get at Sidewalk are from very provocative films that are things like Compliance or Dogtooth.
Yeah, right. Right. Or disturbing, but also maybe ones that require the audience maybe to lean in a little more, work a little harder.
Yeah, I mean, or just like The Nightingale. I mean, there's a 12-minute mark in The Nightingale where you're going to see about 5% of the audience walk out. That's by design. Jennifer Kent did that. That's by design. That film is not built to be liked.
The Nightingale? Yeah. I'm just keeping notes to make sure I go see these movies myself. Well, I mean, and how many other films are we looking at over this?
About 60 to 65 other feature films and about 150 shorts. I think I would be willing to say, even though nobody cares, but I think we are probably the biggest lineup this year. South by's lineup takes me 2 days to peel through.
Yeah.
And when they were doing the book, it was like you could sit down with I'd get to Austin, and the first night I'd sit down with the book, and that's all I did all night. And I mean, this year, and again, I totally get why, but this year, it was like I scrolled 3 times and it was done. So, I was asked to scroll back a little bit, but I was also then given an extra sort of venue right at the last minute. So I scrolled back a little bit, but when I say a little bit, I mean like maybe 10 films lighter than we usually are.
Oh, really? Right. Because like you say, if you're doing mostly, if you have to keep in mind, I imagine there's still some protocols, et cetera, that you have to consider taking.
Sure, more time between films, and
for more thorough cleaning,
and just also because all of the protocols just take so much longer. So there's a little more time between films. Because we had such a budget cut from last year, we couldn't afford to do all our venues. So we've reduced some of the venues. And, just in addition to that, the venues are at reduced capacity. So, just that takes longer than to sort of get people in and turn people away, so to speak. So all of those things created a little bit of a shrunken lineup. But again, I think when all is said and done, we're just about, over the course of the week, we're about 10 films down.
Okay.
Hold on real quick. I'm so sorry.
MacBook Pro 2 and Rachel's iPhone.
Let me know when you're back.
I'm back.
Well, we can wind it down anyway, because I know that you're in the thick of it, so I don't want to drag you away for too much longer. Just wanted to make sure we let people know. So if you're in the general area of Birmingham, or if you're on your way somewhere points south or east or west of, I guess you can't go south, right? Is it right on the?
You can definitely go south.
You can go south.
You can go south. You can go south and go to the beach. You could stop by and see a film and then head to the beach.
How far is the beach? Because where did I read? I read something about that and it's maybe geographically speaking. How far is the beach from the festival?
Oh, it's like you can hit the beach in 3.5 hours. It just depends on what beach you want.
Right. It's on the Gulf.
Yes. Yeah.
Of course. Where else? Thank you.
Thank you.
I wish you a lot of luck with the festival, and I'll make a point of getting. Make a point of getting there next year. I'll be real early we're factoring everything in and getting down there.
Please.
Thanks
for having me. I appreciate it.
Anytime, Rachel.
Hope to see you soon.
Me too.
In person.
Exactly.
Bye.
Okay, take care.